G'day guys, glad you're here. I'm just about to talk through the best cheap defenders, best mid-price defenders, and best premium defenders for this year in FPL. You don't want to miss out on some great differentials, so strap on your boots and let's dive straight into the action. So, first off, what are the good 4 million defenders out there? Now, there's not a lot of options to pick from when it comes to these 4 million defenders, but with the introduction of defensive contributions, it does allow us to have a few options to pick from. I've gone for sort of the color coding of yellow, I think are very good picks, and red, I think are okay picks, and there are other players that I'll discuss and sort of give my opinions on, and I'll let you know why I haven't highlighted them particularly. So if I run through this list, I think Heaven of Manchester United, there is a chance that he starts game week 1 with injuries to Martinez and Mazraoui. He could be in a back three with De Ligt, Yeni, Loro and himself. But given that United have quite a tricky start to the season, he's not probably somebody that I would have in my team when I have some nicer options here to choose from. Out of the Burnley defence, we're not sure how Scott Parker's going to line up for game week 1. He has been experimenting with 3 at the back as well as his 4-2-3-1 from previous seasons. All I think that can be locked in is that Steve will be playing at centre-back. He's obviously had a little tinker with Tuanzebe there, with Jordan Bayer there, and with Worrell there. Each of those have their own merits for being in that back 2 or back 3. With a back 3, it also gives rise to a little bit of Kyle Walker potentially coming into that. So for me, all I know that is Steve is going to be in there. Obviously, Burnley had a great defensive record last year. With the loss of Trafford, is that going to be a little bit less good? We'll have to wait and see. For me, my favourite options at that 4 mil price point are the Leeds defenders. Bijol and Rodon are who I expect to play at centre-back for Leeds this season. Bijol is suspended for game week 1, so if you are planning to bench boost, I would go for Rodon. If you are not planning to bench boost in game week 1, and you're not planning to play this 4 million defender, I would go for Bijol. I think he is locked in that Leeds team. New signing around 15 million from Udinese. He will be the main centre-back this year. Rodon will likely rotate a little bit, maybe with Pascal Struijk coming into the centre-back position as well as playing at left-back, and maybe with Sebastian Bornau as well taking some minutes. I do expect Bijol and Rodon to be the main centre-back pairing for Leeds. The reason I have gone for the Leeds defenders as better picks over Sunderland, over Burnley, is a bit of a thought process, not backed up with any stats, but how I think Leeds are well set up to play this season. Leeds have a lot of attacking, pacey players in their team, and I do think they're really nicely set up to play on the counter-attack, whereas Burnley play a little bit more possession football, and therefore won't be on the receiving end of a lot of those defensive contributions. I think Leeds will be able to pick up a little bit more, given I expect them to have slightly lower possession stats this season. I would say also Rodon has been someone who has been aggressive, attacked that first ball, and been able to win those sort of headers and clearances. They have very tall centre-backs, over 190 centimetres, the two of them. A bit of a hunch, just based off the team shape, and what I think, but yes, I really do like Rodon and Bijol for Leeds. In that Sunderland defence, expect Sealt probably to start at centre-back with Ballard, 4.5 million defender for Sunderland, with maybe O'Neill rotating in a little bit with Sealt. Reinildo for me is just not a pick. I'm not sure why I've seen him in many teams. He's quite a defensive fullback. In general for Sunderland, I don't expect him to be getting up that high, getting a lot of assists or goals. At 4 million, he's probably my least favourite on this entire list. So moving on to the 4.5 mil to 5.4 mil, so 4.55 mil defenders here. And we're going to have 2 pages of data on these guys because there is just so many to look at. And just a quick shout out, guys, if you have been enjoying this video, please remember to give it a like, subscribe down below. It does really help the channel. Appreciate it a lot. Let's get straight back into the video. So there's something really crucial I think I should address at this point, and it is when you are going to play your wild card and you're going to transition your team. Take a look at my wildcard chip strategy video if you want to get ideas of what game weeks are good to play those wildcard. But I think this makes a really big difference in what type of defenders you are picking for the beginning of the season. Now, defensive contribution points we've spoken a lot about. Again, take a look at my latest video on that if you want to understand more and why they're so important and why they're so overpowered this season. However, if you are looking to play an early wildcard, say you're planning to play the wildcard in game week 4 in that international break, it might be worth going for the teams that have fantastic fixtures for those first 3 games and are the wingbacks that could get some attacking returns. Now, I think defensive contributions over the long time in the season are going to end up being much better, and the centre-backs will outscore the wing-backs. However, over those short fixture swings where you're targeting key fixtures, clean sheets, you might want to be targeting the wing-back who could get you those attacking returns in those fixtures. So my advice to you guys is, if you are looking to take an early wildcard in game week 4, consider also having some of those wing-backs in your team that have great fixtures for clean sheets and could get you some attacking returns. Now, as we go on to the premium defenders, I will still talk about how there are some guys with those defensive contributions who are still crucial, given their good fixtures on top of the potential defensive contributions. However, if it's a choice between a wing-back with great fixtures and potential for attacking return versus someone with defensive contributions and reasonable fixtures, if you're wildcarding earlier, I would go for the wing-back. And I think that's something really important to keep in mind. I think if that wildcard is in game week 4, then definitely go that way. If you're wildcarding in that 12-13 window, then I think defensive contributions are the better option to be going for. Over that longer period of time, you're going to come out better. If you're looking to wildcard in that sort of game week 7-ish, 6-7-ish swing, which I also discuss in my wildcard chip strategy video, then that is a consideration as to which we want to go for. Maybe you want to have some attacking wing backs, some defensive contribution players, and look to mainly just target the fixtures over that swing. I think that's a choice that you're going to have to make. I think I would probably hedge my bets a little bit if I were there. Right. So, on to this discussion about these defenders. I think Lacroix, Nico Williams are excellent options for defensive contributions point of view. Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest also have good fixtures over this period of time. So the clean sheets plus the defensive contributions are also really nice. Nico Williams is one of those players who can also pick up attacking returns. So he kind of ticks all 3 boxes in those regards. Chris Richards as well, if you want someone that's a little bit cheaper at 4.5 million that also has good defensive contribution stats similar to Lacroix for Crystal Palace with nice fixtures, is a nice option there. I do have Wan-Bissaka and Robinson as some good options for those attacking returns with good fixtures over those first 5 weeks. Again, for me, they're just not top tier for those attacking returns. So potentially I would prefer some of the defensive contribution players at this sort of price point. Now, once we go on to the premiums, I think maybe that the image changes a little bit. And when you've got those sort of premium defenders for the short-term wing-backs, then things may start to shift a little bit. Now, other people in this price range that I know that you might want to talk about, maybe Collins, Pinnock, some of the Brentford defenders. Now, for me, I'm just not sure how Brentford are going to start defensively with the new coach. I'm not sure if their CBIT is going to be so high under this new coach, how their defensive shape is going to be without Thomas Frank this season. So for me, it's more of a, I'd like to wait and see. Maybe they're people to bring in later down the line. But I think I'd rather wait and see on those guys. Other players, Guay of Crystal Palace just doesn't have quite as nice CBIT numbers in there. Aina doesn't have quite as good CBIT or really as good attacking threat as Nico Williams, in my opinion. And Mikalenko, for me, is the weakest out of the Everton defenders, given he doesn't have too much attacking threat and doesn't have as good CBIT. On to the second lot of 4.5 to 5 million defenders. And here I really like Anderson of Fulham. Great CBIT potential. Good fixtures for Fulham over those first 5 weeks. Generally quite a nice defensive unit. We'll see how they begin their season. He didn't play too many minutes last season, which is why his clean sheets aren't so high and his points maybe aren't so high. Some other thoughts in this window of players are Diouf at West Ham. We obviously had Wan-Bissaka on the last page. Diouf is the new signing at the left wing-back role, who in pre-season has been playing super high for West Ham and really does have some potential to be picking up some attacking returns for them. Maybe a nice little differential pick for those people that are looking at Wan-Bissaka. Other options here, Fofana at Chelsea, I think with a really nice fixture run over those first 6 game weeks, could be a really nice pickup. I think his CBIT could be a lot higher than what we see here. Once he gets a little run in that side under Maresca, we will see how Chelsea shape up. So for me, maybe a little bit wait and see how they shape up in that first game. Coyote of Brentford, I know I spoke about that Brentford defense being a place that I didn't want to be looking into. However, I just thought Coyote was an interesting differential pick who finished the season really nicely and has that potential for some attacking returns. The Brentford fixture run is not horrendous, a reasonable opening 5 fixtures, somewhere in the middle, I would say, and Coyote could be an interesting differential if you want to take a punt on a 4.5 mil. Other players in this price point that you might want to think about, but I don't think are fantastic options. Malo Gusto of Chelsea, with Maresca's tactical shifts where he often employs Caicedo at right back, inverts him into defensive midfield so Enzo can press on higher, occupy the defensive midfielder along with Palmer, so either Palmer gets a little bit more space or Enzo's able to run unopposed into the box. That means Malo Gusto's minutes will be reduced over the course of the season. He doesn't get those consistent minutes, as you can see here from his minutes from last season. So for me, is just not an option. Some other players here that people have also been discussing. De Kuyper of Brighton, I just don't think is a good pick. Coming from the Belgian league, obviously a much easier league. Therefore, attacking returns may be a little bit inflated. He won't be on penalties for Brighton, and for me, is just not a nice pick, along with Brighton's fixtures not being fantastic for those first 5 game weeks. Tottenham defenders, Romero, Udogie, we'll wait and see for me under Thomas Frank how they're going to be. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time under a new manager for the defence to set up and be able to understand their roles and their new setup. Tottenham is not the defence that I would be looking to go into. I think there are some nicer picks around this price point. So Udogie and Romero are a no for me. Diego Leon, somebody that's a little bit interesting for Man United. If he can bed down that left-back slot up against Dorgu, he could be really nice in that Amorim rotation at 4.5 million. Let's wait and see how they line up to start. And now we get on to the really spicy 5.5 million plus premium defenders. At the top of this list, we do have Murillo and Milenkovic. And I think one of these two guys has got to go in your team, regardless of whether you're looking at short-term wildcard, long-term wildcard. These two players are hugely overpowered. Murillo is almost picking up those defensive contribution points in every match, averaging 11.02, estimated 46 defensive contribution points over a 36-game period. And that is just unbelievable statistics. Milenkovic, again, reasonable CBIT with immense attacking potential as well. Could end up on some mammoth points, the two of them. I think I'd go for one of the two. Nottingham Forest have a nice first 5 fixtures. Other than that Arsenal game, I think they have the potential for some clean sheets as well. So for me, one of these two, it should be a lock in your team. Tarkowski, obviously another person with exceptional CBIT. I think somebody that I would definitely look to have in my team regardless if he is starting in game week 1. He has picked up a slight niggle and we need to wait and see whether he will be available for game week 1. Stay tuned, watch my live streams, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss it. I will be giving all the latest information for press conferences, for starters, for injuries, right up to the deadline for game week 1. So stay tuned for that. I will also be helping you guys out with your teams on that live stream. Other options here, Virgil with Munoz, I think are fantastic options. Munoz obviously super attacking. Palace with some good fixtures for the first 5 game weeks. Also with some reasonable defensive contribution potential. Virgil obviously playing for Liverpool, one of the best defences in the league. Lots of clean sheet potential, some goal threat as well, and some reasonable defensive contribution points. Both of these guys, I think, are fantastic options. Another couple of players not to be slept on, in my opinion, is Ait-Nouri of Manchester City. I expect Ait-Nouri to be starting in game week 1. I don't expect too much rotation in that left-back slot over the first 5-6 fixtures. I think he was pretty much camped out in the opposition box over that Club World Cup period for Manchester City. Immense potential for attacking returns. A nice run of fixtures over that first 5 for Manchester City with the potential for clean sheets as well. I do think Ait-Nouri is a really nice pick and could be a bit of a differential for those that will be going for the DEFCON points. Maybe you could slide him in there alongside some of those other picks. Cucurella for me, similar thoughts on him. Good offensive options, great first 5-6 fixtures for Chelsea. Obviously an attacking threat as well. Not so good for the DEFCON points, but if you are looking to wildcard early, I think he's someone that you could definitely look at. People that I've not discussed here that are obviously big discussion points in FPL this season. Kirkez and Frimpong. I do expect Connor Bradley to take some minutes off Frimpong over the course of the season, and I just don't think Liverpool's fixtures are so fantastic over those first 5-6 game weeks. And I think Van Dijk is just a little bit nicer, given that he's also playing in that defence and likely to pick up some of those DEFCON points. So for me, I would just prefer Van Dijk over those two guys, regardless of what strategy you're on. From the Arsenal perspective, I'm personally looking to free hit in game week 2, and I will probably have some Arsenal defenders in my team for that Leeds fixtures. Otherwise, I think their fixtures are horrible over the first 5-6 weeks, and I wouldn't look to have any of their defenders in my team. I would much rather target clean sheet, potential attacking returns, or clean sheet and DEFCON points over that period. So for me, the Arsenal defenders are a no. That about rounds out everything I've got to discuss. I hope this has really helped you guys. Please remember to give a like and a subscribe down below to my channel if you have enjoyed this content and you found it helpful. It really does help a small channel to grow, so I would really appreciate it. Stay tuned for lots more videos coming up over the next week or so. This has been your English Aussie. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you all very soon.